down to the figure of Christ. I thought, and then I woke up and I thought, what in the world does that dream mean? What in the world could that possibly mean? And then I understood it. I understood that if you have 20 kings, let's say, and you took the thing that was most king-like about each of them, and then you combined it into a single figure, then you get a single figure of transcendent heroism, of transcendent good. And it's a tenet of the Jungian school of psychology, let's say, that that figure of transcendent good is symbolized by the image of Christ. And the purpose of that image is so that even the tyrannical king has someone to bend his knee to. And that's absolutely vital. I mean, you don't have to approach it from a religious perspective, although you inevitably do, because when you speak of things at this level, that's what happens. But you need an image of the transcendent embodied good to serve as something that unites the great tyrants of the past. It's something like that. It's an emergent vision of embodied unity. And it's a psychological necessity. It's a sociological necessity. And I think it bears very strongly on your question about why is it that people matter. It's the classic Western answer to that, the Judeo-Christian answer to that, is because you have a spark of divinity within you, and that divinity is a reflection of this transcendent good. And it's obligatory for me to recognize that in you, and vice versa, if we're going to inhabit the same territory without mayhem, peacefully and with the ability to cooperate. Now, you might say, well, the mere fact that a transcendent image is necessary as a uniting figure doesn't prove the reality of that image. But I would say, well, yes, but it doesn't disprove it, and it strongly hints at something more profound, especially when you also ally it with the observation that the encounter with something truly admirable produces the instinct of awe. And that's not a rational instinct, it's an irrational instinct, but it's a marker that you're in the presence of something greater than yourself. And it's not something that you have voluntary control over, it's something that overtakes you. And it could easily be a reflection of the truth. Now, you can make a biologically reductionistic argument about that, but it starts to become extraordinarily difficult, because you enter into the realm where these transcendent experiences of religious significance and awe are a phenomenological and psychological reality. And it's not easy to explain why that's the case.
If I have to explain it, it's just, I've always just noticed symbols, or just looked at everything as a symbol of something. And just mastering that, and then being able to just kind of connect dots, and then align those dots to my knowledge, my logic, my heart, is when everything just started kind of randomly happening. And it wasn't like a transcendence, it was like a physical, like, what just happened? Great example, my brother Will introduced me to his wife for the first time, and she was the first person who just kind of snubbed me when I was like trying to introduce myself, which was kind of odd because I was always a very welcoming person. But I just remember clearly she was at the kitchen table in the very back. I walked back and said, "Hi, I'm Charles, and nice to meet you." And she just got up and like didn't say anything, walked by me, didn't say anything, went into her room, came out with a clear, like gallon Ziploc bag, and in the bag I could see were some, CDRs. So I just assumed like, oh, she's got CDRs in a bag. That's kind of weird. And then she just came right up to me and she said, this is gonna sound totally crazy, but I have been waiting all my life to give this to you. And I know, as crazy as that sounds, just please listen to these CDs, because that is why I'm here. And I was just like, oh, thanks. Like, I love music. Like, thank you. I always love music. She was like, it's not music. Just listen to them. They're numbered. That's all. Just please don't think I'm crazy. And I was just like, no, I would never say that. If anything, I'm crazy. So to me, this is like normal in a sense. But it was just kind of odd. I looked at Will, her husband, and I was just like, and he just kind of gave me the, it was, I don't know. Like, and he just like, there was a time when he was just like, was there something going on between you and her? And I was like, I'm kind of like, from the CDs that I listened to, like, yeah, like, she is somebody who I was meant to meet, but like, we weren't like fooling around or anything. Like, how could you even? So it was like, I'm glad he brought that up, and we just kind of squashed it. But again, he can vouch that this happened. It was weird. I don't think he never heard the CDs. I don't know if she listened to the CDs, but those CDs explained to me that before we are born into whatever vessel they call it, the body of vessel, they say that there's just this whole world of souls, just waiting to get a vessel to embody. But I can't remember exactly, but it just said that there are 12, what's the word? 12. I can't think of it. It begins with an A, but just, they gave an example of where, the creator, it's not just like the souls wait in line, but it's like, they used Helen Keller, the light of Helen Keller, as an example, or I don't know if this was just like the example, but they said that the soul that entered that vessel was in that pool, and when the creator or whoever is the gatekeeper to let these vessels in asked the sea of souls, like, hey, like, we're looking for somebody just like who wants to do something with this round. We don't want like just any player. We want one player who's ready to just kind of do something, like one big thing. They said that, this soul said, I want to teach the world compassion. And the creator was like, wow, that is exactly the kind of like purpose we are looking for. But to show and teach people true compassion is a very difficult thing. And so, as noble as that is, if I told you, like, if that's what you want to do, and the only way that I can even set you up to be able to succeed in that, I don't want to set you up and fail, but I have to put you in a vessel where you are deaf, blind, and mute. Are you still okay with following this purpose? And that voice was like, yes, this is something that means something to me. I am still down. I'm in. Deaf, blind, mute, that's cool. Like, I'll just live in my own world. Like, that's great. Like, personally for me, like, I don't know. dream of just like not being able to see, hear, or just the life that you would live. You know, like, yeah, it would be difficult, but if you had good people around you, like, it would be so, like, unbelievable. Like, what life would be that I imagine being in a position. So, yes, I'm in. Yes, let's do it. Okay, that's great. We're so great that you chose to do this still after that. Now, again, we don't want to set you up to fail, and you are going to need a lot of help, like a lot of help and guidance and protection. So I ask the rest of the souls out here, is there anyone out there who wants to see this succeed? And the next soul pops up and says, I do. I want this just as much as they do. Great. Okay, now, again, what if I told you you would also be deaf, blind, and mute? Do you still want to help with the compassion mission? Yes. Whatever I need to do, I'll do it. And the creator said, great, that's all you need. You two are going to enter into that universe at the exact right time, not at the same time, or maybe at the same time, but you guys are going to live two separate, independent lives, completely unaware of the other. But then there will be a moment where the time is right and you guys will meet. And when you meet, you will automatically know this was not just coincidence. This was providence. This is it. So don't forget that. Just recognize that you guys are meant to come together and don't be blind to that. I mean, you're already blind. So, feel it with your heart. And I wish you luck. And let's all wish these souls luck. And boom. Helen Keller goes in, and then her teacher, Anne, supposedly went in the other body. And Anne is like the teacher that Helen had, who helped her just blossom into this beautiful, like, brilliant, just philosopher type, just amazing human being. And that's what, like, the CD just set up. And I was just like, okay, so what was my thing? Was I part of this? I don't know exactly what this is, but it was just archetypes. That's what it was, just setting up like my archetypes, which at that point, like, oh, okay, I kind of see this, like all my archetypes, seem to just definitely like have an A, like Will Smith, Jordan Peterson, Albert Einstein, like JP, like WSAE, like these are initials or just symbols that have represented just like the people who have like spoken like to me as if it was like meant to be in a sense. But I've never met them, but I feel like I'm so connected to them. And so I just embody that, and I just have rolled with that. And like I've told people, yeah, like I spoke with Trevor Noah today. It's like, dude, that was like a video that you edited. It's like, yeah, I know that, but I don't know. Like I still feel like we connected, and I don't care if you feel it. Like Russell Brand and I don't know if he's feeling it, but like I don't know. Just I'm feeling so connected to the world, and it was when I just completely accepted that this is who I was meant to be, which is crazy because growing up I was like, I know I'm like supposed to do like something special, like I'm getting to a point where like I'm watching like Superman, and like I'm just like, this movie is like really speaking to my heart for some reason. And like like it's just these things where it was just so weird. And luckily I had a great father who just like Clark's dad. You're my son. Just know that you're my son. That's all you're here to do. Just be my son. You don't have to go do anything great. Just do what I tell you. And I did. But then, yeah. So, I mean, just fast forwarding, just how do you explain this transcendence and stuff like that? Like, that's how I explain it. Like, I just would have to be blind to not recognize that all these signs I've seen are more than just coincidence. Just how much they have been, unless you're somebody who's even able to recognize those things by understanding, the laws of the universe and all that stuff. Like, you can't get it until you see it. And people who I've talked to have told me, like, I don't know what it was, but just something told me, bring this to you. And like, I don't know. I'm at a point where now I'm like answering questions. Then I go look at a video, and the video I watch is like asking the question that I answered like before I even watched. It's crazy, which is why I'm trying to just like go live just to show you guys. Like, I'm not doing some editing effects, like I just try to keep the board the same and just try to pick up where I left off, just to keep everything transparent. I'm not trying to fool you guys. I'm not trying to exploit or, make some extortionary claim by saying like, I am the chosen one. Like, I'm the one that this world has been waiting for to do what Einstein, like wrote in the letters that he passed on to his daughter to wait for a time to release. And it was 1980. I was born in 1981. Like, just so many coincidences. And I don't know if I'm just making the connection because I'm looking for the connection. But again, let me know. It's not going to hurt me. So, yeah, in that sense, I always did an affirmation, but I just told myself, like, look, I am now ready to walk into the light and ignite the flame of wisdom, knowledge, power, and love so that I can transform and transmutate lower vibrations into a higher state of being. Like, that was the prayer that I said when I finished the Bible. And it just great, here you go, here's all the information. And now everything's just pouring in, and I don't know. I don't know how to sort through all this and just organize it in a way. So I'm just kind of putting it off for now and just putting in the faith that okay, clearly I'm onto something, and clearly people who know what I'm talking about are recognizing this. And so what should I do now? I mean, what are you guys expecting me to do it in a certain way, or what? I'm just sitting here just I'm ready to let this out. I just need a direction. I'm like the Joker where it's I'll just chase this dog and until, I see another car, and I'll just chase that tire, and just please give me some way. You guys know how to reach me, but I need not the carrot, but I mean, just tell me, how do you want to do this? How do we do this? So, yeah, I mean, so I guess I hear that. I'll just be meeting with people, telling them I'm here, I'm who I am, and if they believe me or not. People have been pretty receptive to it, personal, one-on-one. But I hope if you guys have been watching these videos, just know that I am totally crazy from a normal perspective, but again, in that logical understanding, my crazy is normal to me. And so, it's just perspective. So, like I said, I was like, Jarrell's my this is like, then I got just the transcendence to just, like listen to this video of Albert Einstein's letters, and I totally was like, thank you. That's the answer I needed. So I'm just gonna work on that. I'm gonna show the unified theory of the universe that I guess science asked my forefather to do, and then ended up creating the most destructive weapon in the history of mankind as we know it. And so I pray that once I show this to you guys, we are ready to use it to create the love bomb that we thought we weren't ready for. So, Nobel Peace Prize, as petty as that sounds, I would truly like to win that prize, because that's what I want to do for my father, to give him the recognition that he is the one who helped bring peace to all of us. And that $1 million I could definitely use to give to them to invest and pay off some of the debts that I've kind of been accumulating, trying to create all this content and this universe to be able to create this content in. So, full transparency, yes, once I show this, I expect to be at least in consideration of winning the Nobel Prize. But again, only for that reason, not for recognition, but the reason to be able to recognize how much my father meant to me, and that I promised him I will win this for you. Just like Albert Einstein told his wife, like, hey, look, one day I'm going to win this, and it's going to come with a huge, reward, and I'm going to give you that reward. Just give me a divorce. Like, nobody knows that side about my father, but he's a funny man. Just like my real, I've just had so many fathers who I've just been, it's like Jordan Peterson said, it's like 20 of the greatest minds, all like, here's the best quality of me I want to put in this one. Here's the best of this, and here's the best. That's how I feel now. It's just like Voltaire, Amadeus Mozart, Albert Einstein, my father, just so many characteristics where each person just gave me the best of theirs so that I could embody the best in all of them, like Jordan Peterson said. So again, thank you, Mr. Peterson, Dr. Peterson, for just being you and just being one of my archetypes in this revelation. So, okay. I hope that kind of just shed some light on that question, or in that discussion that I was listening to.